Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. Happy Friday to you. I hope you're all safe and healthy on this Friday, and that you have some really good, happy, and fun weekend plans for you and your family. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, who, along with the first responders, are out here every day trying to save lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage for us, even on Fridays, and keep places clean and disease free. And those that make deliveries for us that we take for granted, deliveries such as food and water and mail. Blessings upon those, double blessings on the men and women who are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the children, the teenagers that are the victims of child abuse, sexual exploitation, pedophilia. Double curses on those that inflict them with these things. And blessings upon those that are trying to deliver those people that are the victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. And again, double curses on the perpetrators of these things, on those who profit from these nasty things, and on those perverts who create the demand of which the other perverts create the supply. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children homeless in the United States of America, mostly children, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So now we know the New York Knicks are going to be playing the Miami Heat on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Now we also know officially the Boston Celtics are going to be playing the Philadelphia 76ers Monday at 7, I think, 7:30, something like that. Couple things. You know, in basketball, there's multiple variables that cause teams to be successful or not successful. One of those variables is health. If Giannis, I want to tell you straight, let's be real about it. If Giannis Antetokounmpo didn't miss most part of 3 games in that series, we'd be playing the Bucks right now instead of the Miami Heat. But the fact is, he did miss those 3 games. He did hurt his back. As much as everybody, I know that sometimes I get people that are always saying, go get this one, get this one, in case somebody get hurt, go get another person. You can't guard against all injury. The best you could do is what the Knicks have done. They have Julius Randle, and then behind Julius Randle, they got Obi Toppin. That's about the best situation you can have, because you not only have Julius Randle, but you got a backup that could be a starter. You can't really get much better than that. You can't go get a third power forward in case Obi gets hurt. You can't do that. And so the Knicks at every position have a capable backup. When I say capable, somebody that's capable of starting. Okay, at the point guard, you got Jalen Brunson. And we've already seen IQ can start. And I'm telling you right now, Deuce McBride can too if he needs to. You already got Quentin Grimes, and then behind him, you got Josh Hart. You got Mitchell Robinson, and behind him, you got Isaiah Hartenstein. Okay, you got R.J. Barrett, and again, you got Josh Hart. You got Quentin Grimes they could rotate at that 3 spot, and you also got Obi Toppin that could play the 3. Okay, so we got players at every position that can be backed up by players that are capable of starting. That is about the best you can do in a 9-man rotation. You can't really, in the NBA, you can't really have 10, 12 guys play. Okay, you really got to focus on 8, 9, sometimes 10, but no more than that. Okay, the 10th man for the Knicks is Deuce McBride. Then comes Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, Jericho Sims, and whoever else is there. Then comes all our other guys. No, not this. And Daquan Jeffries, let me not diss. Daquan Jeffries, then comes those guys. They get garbage time, okay? They're not really in the rotation. But in the rotation, the Knicks have the best of all situations, in that you got starters that can play and you got backups that can start. Okay, that's about as good as you could get. Unfortunately, there are players such as Giannis Antetokounmpo that there really is no backup for. There's no backup for Michael Jordan. There's no backup for Magic Johnson. There's no backup for Kobe Bryant. There are players of that stratosphere that there's no backup for. Once they get hurt, you are done. And that's the risk when you have a superstar level player that can bring you to the chip. If that player gets hurt, your season's over. You could battle, but your season's over. Okay, you're not winning the chip. Because generally, if you take the Milwaukee Bucks, for example, you had Giannis. That's your superstar. Then you got Brook Lopez, a starter level capable dude that at the 4 and the 5 spot. Then you have guys like Middleton. You have Jrue Holiday. You have Grayson Allen, shooters around Joe Ingles, shooters around Pat Connaughton, around Giannis. All of those guys have been injured at one point or another, but that didn't stop the Bucks. The Bucks won 58 games, but all of those guys at different stages injured. But the one guy you cannot have injured is Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's very few players that are in the physical condition, if you look at him, of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who works extremely hard on his physical conditioning. And if you look at him from when he was 19 years a rookie, he looked like a little boy in high school compared to now he looks like a grown man. He works on his body has filled in, but still he got hurt because that's the way things happen sometimes in the NBA. Okay, so that being said, the Knicks are in a fantastic position for the reasons I stated. They have 5 starters and 5 dudes that can come in behind those 5 starters and start if they need to. Okay? And so really the Knicks are in a better, and that's a better situation to me for a team. That's why we talk about long-term sustainable winning. What are the parts of long-term sustainable winning? Drafting and developing your own homegrown talent. That way you're not dependent on just one dude to take you all the way. Okay? And if that one dude gets hurt, you're done. Like so like you had KD and Kyrie. Kyrie gets hurt, they done. Okay, they done, even with KD. So it's good to have an RJ Barrett that can get you 26, 28 if you need to. A Jalen Brunson his game is not predicated on athleticism. Okay, he's a floor type dude. Footwork galore. He's going to play. And even he gets bumped up, beat up, whatever, we still got Emmanuel quickly behind him. Okay? Quentin Grimes, an elite perimeter defender. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to be an elite shooter. Some of y'all forgot the 20-point games he put together at the end of the season. But he's going to be an elite shooter in the league. And could go off the dribble. And you got behind him, tough as nails, Josh Hart. Be in good shape. See? So the Knicks, and then of course, as I mentioned, you got Julius Randle, who is a 2010 guy, tough, rebounding, ferocious, and you got behind him a guy that could run like a daggone deer in Obi Toppin. Okay? So then of course you got Mitch Robb, who is the defensive anchor, who really, to me, is the guy you can't lose. You cannot lose him. And then you got Josh Hart, tough as nails, behind him. So you really in a really good position, Knicks Nation. And that's why, again, I'm favoring the Knicks, even though, like I said, Giannis can't help that he got hurt, and Miami ain't gonna have no sympathy. So Miami did what they had to do and got to the semifinals. So now the Knicks got to play a tough Miami team. Okay? But I just want to say, and I'm not trying to diss Miami, please don't. Some of y'all already predicting undefeated, running through 4-1, 4-0. I learned the hard way. Always have respect for your opponent. Always have respect for your opponent. They are in your position. They're still in the playoffs like you. They got there because they beat teams like you did. Okay? And Miami's playing their toughest, their best basketball right now. They're not the same team as they were during the season. So, but with all that being said, I mean, as a realistic point of view, the Knicks are the better team. They just are. Okay. The Miami got some really good, obviously Jimmy Butler is playing a superstar level right now in the playoffs. And he was doing it at the end of the season too. They got Bam Adebayo, who is my favorite player on that team. I love Bam Adebayo's game. Versatile, defender, tough rebounder, high IQ, hits his foul shot. The dude is something else at 6'9". Can run a break at 6'9". and guard 7 footers. So they got those two dudes. They got guys out of their prime like a Kyle Lowry. Now they're missing an up and coming dude that they just signed to a big deal in Tyler Hero. But still, they're tough. Eric Spoelstra, coaching the NBA for more. I can't tell you how many years he's been there, but he's been coaching there at least 15 years. At least. That continuity with the front office with Pat Riley is part of the secret of their success. Okay, so they got a tough team, but the Knicks are better. We got advantages at pretty much every position except Jimmy Butler's position. Like Bam Adebayo is all that, but I'll take Mitch Rob any day. Told you all that when we went, in the last series against Jared Allen and them, Jared Allen Mobley. Some of y'all are like, well, they too big. No, they're not. And Mitch told y'all. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Miami gonna have a problem with Mitchell Robinson. Okay, he's the most important guy we got because they have to account for him. Again, why is Mitchell Robinson the most important guy we got? Two reasons. Number one, he's the defensive anchor. He protects the rim. The Knicks defense is predicated in Tom Thibodeau style on keeping people out the paint. Because even with the three-pointers that we have, even with the Stephen Currys and the Klay Thompsons that can shoot the lights out, most teams, the highest percentage shot is in the paint. And so they want to get their shots in there. The closer, the better. Okay, they rather get those because those are more sure, high percentage shots. If you can keep people out the paint and force them to shoot threes or even long twos, really is what you want, long twos, your percentage of winning the game goes up. Then the second reason, and then of course Mitchell Robinson is the rim protector that even if they get by your guard, they know they got to deal with him. Okay, sometimes they get by, sometimes they could create a foul, sometimes they get their mess thrown back. Okay, so that's one reason. Second reason is he's the best offensive rebounder in the playoffs right now, Mitchell Robinson. And why is that important? Because that gets you more possessions. He had 11 offensive rebounds against the Cavs last Wednesday. That got the Knicks 11 extra possessions. That's what that represents. Every offensive rebound represents another possession. Okay, sometimes the putback dunk, sometimes he's kicking it out to a three-point shooter, but it represents another possession. The more possessions you have in the playoffs, the higher your chances of winning the ball game. Which brings me to the third point. If you have a lot of possessions, but you're turning the ball over a lot, you're negatively affecting the extra possessions. They don't matter because you're losing them with the turnovers. So you get the extra possession on the offensive rebound, and then the Knicks have to take care of the basketball. Keep the turnovers to a low. Right now, they average 13 turnovers a game. The last game against Cleveland, they only had 10. I think the game before that, they only had 10. So that's good. You want to keep doing that. Okay. So the Knicks, I'm picking them to win this series in 6. I'm always being conservative. They could very well win it in 5 games. But I always am conservative because I've learned the hard way. Like I said, respect your opponent. I'm not going for this 7-game stuff, though. A lot of people picking 7-game series. This ain't going to be no 7-game series. This is going to be ended by 6 games. Or quicker. It depends on what happens. But definitely I'm picking the Knicks in 6 on this one here because they're the better team. They're healthy. They're playing their best ball at this point of the season. And I'm picking them to win. Now, Boston, Philly. Everybody in the world is going to be telling you the Eastern Conference champion is in that series. It's between Boston and Philly. And I hear that. They're both better teams than the Knicks as teams. But the Knicks match up extremely well with both those teams. See, technically, Cleveland was better than the Knicks by their record. Technically, they were the 4th seed. The Knicks were the 5th seed. So technically, Cleveland was better. But the Knicks actually were the better team. And they matched up very well against Cleveland. The Knicks match up very well. They're not as accomplished as Boston and Philly because Boston and Philly have their main core players been there for a minute, right? Tobias Harris been playing with Joel Embiid for a minute now. Okay, then Tyrese Maxey, I think, is in his 3rd season, just like IQ. And they've been together for a while, and they've played Tyrese from his rookie year. So they've been playing together now for 3 seasons at least. And then James Harden's been there now for, I think, 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. But, that's that. But Tobias Harris, Guys like Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton, they've been there for a minute. So they have more continuity. And then, of course, Embiid is a superstar, much as he is injury prone, but he's a superstar. So they got a nice team. And, of course, Boston, we know, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Robert Williams III. They've been there. They've been together for 3-4 years already, so they know each other very well. And then of course you just added two nice pieces. You added some nice people. Al Horford is a veteran. He's been around, but he's a veteran in Boston. And then of course you add the two guys. The guy they got, I forgot his name, from San Antonio, and then you got Malcolm Brogdon, the so-called sixth man of the year. But they got a nice team. They got a nice core. They got a continuing continuity with them. Missoula is the new coach, but it doesn't seem to have caused them any problems. They seem to just be rolling still. They finished second in the East, 57 wins, second best record in the NBA. So they're going. Everybody's going to be telling you the Eastern Conference Championship goes through those teams, those two teams. But the Knicks get by Miami, they're going to be a problem. If the Knicks get by Miami, they're going to be a problem. So, and I'm predicting they will. So we'll see what happens. But Sunday, Knicks against the Heat at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be on. We're going to do our podcast. We're going to do our pod at noon before the game. Get ready for the game. Hopefully, Ian Begley said about 5 o'clock. By 5 o'clock on Saturday, we will know Quentin Grimes' status for the game. Probably know officially Julius Randle's status as well. I think both of them are going to be questionable, but they'll probably play. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll see what happens. Quentin, we're getting this time off. Quentin Grimes is one of the dudes that, and they said that he could have healed better from his foot if he'd have just rested. So they have trouble keeping him off the floor, even the practice floor. It's one of the things you love about him. So I'm hoping he gets the rest on his shoulder. I'm sure they did tests on it. It wasn't separated. It wasn't no ligament damage or anything. It's just, they said contusion. So he needs rest. Hopefully he got that, and now he's ready to go. Quentin Grimes could play a big role in this series, defensively especially. But if they try to double team Brunson and try to double team our Juju, we might see Quentin Grimes do some work offensively as well, which I'm pretty confident in him. So anyway, here we go. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there. Happy Friday. Shalom. Shabbat shalom.